as a requirement of the PM603 Enterprise Project Management. How organizations track performance. It will be presented by Isabela Teodoro. Let's begin. So here we are going to talk about evaluating and controlling. That is the first step to track the performance. Although controlling seems a very obvious word when we talk about project management, it is not performed well in most organizations. That is the manager's job, to keep control over the project. This will keep people accountable, help them to keep focus on the project, therefore prevent small problems from turning into big problems. A manager needs an information system to effectively control a project. This information system needs to collect data and report progress, cost, schedule, and specifications. To measure the performance, the manager should start answering the questions. What is the current status of the project in terms of schedule and cost? How much will it cost to complete the project? When will the project be completed? Are there potential problems that need to be addressed now? What, who, and where are the causes for the cost or schedule overruns? If there is a cost overrun midway in the project, can we forecast the overrun at completion? According to Larso Eric Gray Clifford, controlling is the process of comparing actual performance against plan to identify deviations, evaluate possible alternative courses of actions, and take appropriate corrective action. When you compare the actual project with the one planned, we can see how it has been performed, and when that part of the project doesn't happen, the manager and the team don't have any idea of how the project is actually going. It is just going without a follow up. And that's how projects that should be performed in months turn into years, and a small budget ended up being gigantic budget. So here are four steps that managers needs to measure a project performance. Setting a baseline plan, measuring progress and performance, comparing plan against actual, and taking action. So here is the step number one, setting a baseline plan. Baseline is derived from the cost and duration information found in the work breakdown structure, WBS, database and time sequence data from network and resource scheduling decisions. The baseline plan provides elements for measuring performance, meaning that you will be use the information to time each phase of the project, work, resource, budget from the WBS and use to build a baseline for the project. Here is the step 2, measuring progress and performance. In this step, we're going to talk about time and budget of the project. It is important to understand that time and budget are quantitative and not qualitative, so it will fit into integrate information system. The time is easy to measure, or the activity is on time, early, or late. We can see clearly just looking at the date that should be performed and the one that's actually done. When there is a late activity or a new change, it is important to understand why and if that will cause any critical activity. And then we have performance against budget. Not as simple as time, because we can't just compare actual versus budget, because we have earned value. That is the budget cost of the work performed that need to be added to be realistic. And then we have step 3, comparing plan against actual. Plans are plans and rarely happen how they are expected. Because of that, in the project, it is important to measure any difference or alteration in the project so actions can be taken. The manager needs periodic monitoring and measure of the status. And this way it is possible to compare the actual with the expected. When the monitoring happens frequently, it's easier to assure that deviations will be detected as early as it happens and the correct action will be taken if necessary. So therefore, it is necessary to make sure that the status report happens every 1 to 4 weeks. And then we have the fourth step, is taking action. In this step, as the name suggests, we look at the deviation from the plans and then, if they are significant, we take corrective action, bring the project back on track as original suggests. Also, in some cases, the scope changes, and for that, we require a change in the baseline plan. And then, in conclusion, the organizations keep track of their project performance through evaluating and controlling. Controlling, although not very regular within organization, it is very important because when they keep track of the project, the manager is able to bring the project to materialize as close as is expected. And also, they can find the deviations and take the corrective action as early as possible, preventing small problems to turn into big problems. So this concludes our presentation, and here is the reference used for this presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.